One night, a scabby dog collapsed at my doorstep. My uncle, disgusted by its filth, told me to deal with it. What kind of deal with it? In the countryside, that usually meant throwing it into the cesspit. Just as I gripped its scruff, I noticed tears streaming from its eyes. My heart sank, and I decided to keep it. Little did I know that impulsive act would save my entire family's lives. I really remember that day. It rained heavily. I was using a basin to catch rainwater runoff from the roof, when I suddenly heard a soft whimpering outside. I opened the door to see a scabby, patchy dog collapsed right at our entrance. My uncle stepped out too. "Where did this plague-ridden creature come from?" he grumbled. "Ethan, take it away." "It's blocking the door and stinks." I quickly prepared to dispose of it. I was hesitant at first, because these stray dogs are usually fierce. If it bit me, the pain wasn't what scared me. It was the expensive rabies shots I'd have to get. My uncle would only scold me more. Luckily, the mangy dog was barely breathing, exhaling more than inhaling. I grabbed its scruff and asked my uncle, "Where should I throw this dog?" My uncle snapped. "Throw it in the cesspit." As soon as he spoke, the scabby dog whimpered softly again. I bent down and saw tears welling in its eyes. I found it strange. Could this dog understand what we were saying? Seeing me still hesitant, my uncle strode over, ready to kick it. "You idiot! Hurry up and throw it out!" he yelled. "You're holding it with your filthy hands. Do you want to go without dinner tonight?" My uncle's loud voice drew my grandfather out. He puffed on his pipe, then sat beside me, glancing at the scabby dog. "They say a dog appearing brings prosperity. A cat brings good fortune," he mused. "Since this dog has come to our door, let's keep it. It won't cost that much more rice." My uncle pouted, looking at grandfather. "What's the point? Look how filthy it is, shedding fur, definitely full of diseases." Hearing my uncle, grandfather turned to me and asked, "Do you want to keep this dog?" "You want to keep a dog?" I looked at the scabby dog again, seeing it staring at me with tear-filled eyes. My heart softened. I told grandfather, "Yes, let's keep it." Grandfather nodded. "All right, a child with a kind heart is a good thing. But if you want to keep it, we must cure its illness first. Otherwise, it will just die." My uncle was annoyed. "My uncle will be bad." "What kind of nonsense is this? Curing an animal? Don't you know how to spend extra money?" I quickly added, "It's okay, grandfather. I'll use my New Year's lucky money." Only then did my uncle grumble and retreat into the house, muttering, "If you won't listen, then so be it." Grandfather ignored him, patting my head. "It's not just about what you want. You have to ask it too. If it doesn't agree, then don't keep it." I nodded and asked grandfather, "Grandpa, this dog doesn't understand human language. How will I know if it agrees or not?" Grandfather picked me up, chuckling. "How will you know it doesn't understand if you haven't asked it?" Curious, I bent down and spoke to the scabby dog lying there. "Can you hear me? I'll raise you, okay? If you agree, bark once. If not, bark twice." As soon as I finished, the Scabby dog barked once and looked up at me. Grandfather smiled even more brightly. A child with a kind heart earns good karma. Dogs bring prosperity, and this dog has chosen you. From that day on, our family had a new dog. Grandfather, a bamboo weaver, even specially crafted a bed for it from bamboo strips. I fed it leftovers. Everything was fine, except for the peculiar way it looked at me. Towards evening, Grandmother returned from visiting relatives in the neighboring village. Before she could even enter the door, the Scabby dog started barking frantically. Grandmother cried out in fright. "Oh my, where did this dog come from? Chase it away!" As Grandmother stepped through the gate, the Scabby dog lunged out, barking wildly at the empty air beyond the gate. I ran to pull its leash, but despite its small size, I couldn't hold it back. The leash slipped from my grasp, and it dashed outside, barking all the while. Soon, its barks echoed to the edge of the village. My uncle came out and mocked me. "See? See? There. See? I told you, you can never tame a stray dog. Once it's full, it just runs away." Grandmother, hearing the full story, scolded Grandfather. "If you wanted a dog, you should have gotten a puppy, not brought a stray home." Grandfather just squinted and smiled, pointing at me. "Ethan likes it, so that's that," he said. Grandmother stopped, stepped to the door, closed the gate, and picked me up to comfort me. "Good boy. If the dog ran away, let it be. Grandmother will find you another one." But then, the Scabby dog barked once and leaped straight over the 3-meter-high wall into the courtyard. Heavens! It jumped in effortlessly, landing without a sound. Then wagged its tail and ran circles around me. It didn't bark at Grandmother anymore, but Grandmother still recoiled several steps, trembling. This dog isn't normal," she stammered. "Don't say a word," Grandfather said, gripping Grandmother's sleeve, his eyes wide. "It has accepted Ethan and eaten his food. That is its blessing." My uncle started to argue, but Grandmother pulled him back. She seemed wary of the dog, pressing against Grandfather's back, then told me Ethan. "Try to go closer and pet it. I was very brave as a child. I once wrapped a snake around my waist like a belt. What was so scary about touching a dog?" The Scabby dog crawled into the bamboo bed Grandfather had woven, seeming utterly content. I approached it, and it whimpered softly again, its voice tiny, almost like it was flattering me. Its tail wagged furiously. As I stroked its head, I turned to Grandfather and said, "Grandpa, this dog's teeth are very sharp, longer than even big yellows and little blacks in the village. And they're hooked." The Scabby dog, delighted, rolled onto its back to expose its belly. Just then, my uncle came closer and told me earlier. It was gasping for breath, its belly flat. How did it run outside for a while and come back so a while? Grandfather squinted. People say dogs eat feces and wolves eat meat, but this one is different. Those aren't its diet. Meat for it is just a snack. It must have gone out for a good meal. A good meal? Grandmother's face suddenly drained of all color, and she trembled, slumping to the ground. Do you mean something followed me home when I returned? Don't speak. Grandfather turned sharply, hushed, then pointed at the Scabby dog and instructed me, Ethan, from now on, only you are allowed to feed it. It won't eat from anyone else. My uncle didn't believe it. He pulled a piece of cured meat from a jar and offered it to the Scabby dog. Grandmother cried out in alarm, No, we don't even have enough for ourselves. Why feed it to a dog? Grandfather just smiled faintly, not stopping him. Sure enough, the Scabby dog turned its back, presenting its hindquarters to my uncle. It only whimpered softly, looking at me, its tail wagging so hard it knocked the meat from my uncle's hand. My uncle was furious. He changed tack, shoving the meat towards it. Eat it, you plague-ridden beast. You have meat to eat, and you're still picky? The dog's eyes immediately turned blood red. It spun around, baring its sharp teeth. My uncle stumbled back several steps. You damn dog, are you trying to bite me? I quickly hugged it. The Scabby dog immediately became as gentle as a puppy, snuggling into my arms. I looked at the meat on the ground, picked it up, and offered it to the dog. Only then did it open its mouth and snatch it. A tremor ran through me. This dog, did it truly only accept me? Grandfather, seeing it eat the meat, his eyes gleaming, said joyfully, Good, very good. Quick, give it a name. Grandmother was also delighted, urging me to say whatever came to mind, not to force it. I stroked its head and was surprised to see it stop chewing, looking up at me. In its eyes, I blurted out 2 words, Lucky Fortune. At that very moment, Lucky Fortune spat out a fang. Grandfather, overjoyed, clapped his hands continuously and told Grandmother, Quick, get the red string from under the ancestral altar. Thread it for the boy to wear. My uncle pouted and spat on the ground. What a disgusting thing, utterly repulsive. Grandmother, smiling happily, tied the tooth to the red string and hung it around my neck. Lucky Fortune, barked. Lucky Fortune. Lucky Fortune, barked. Bark, dot. Grandfather, eyes twinkling, picked me up and said, All right, now it's truly done. After saying this, he turned and called the dog. Lucky Fortune, this name was given to you by my grandson. You must be loyal, you hear? Lucky Fortune quickly swallowed the cured meat and ran in circles around us. Hearing Grandfather call, it lifted its head and sniffed at me for a long time, then returned to its bed. Grandmother went into the kitchen to prepare dinner. I followed her to help start the fire. Grandfather went in and whispered something to Grandmother. I just saw Grandmother's face change several times before she finally smiled and nodded repeatedly at me. At dinner time, Grandmother went to the main hall to light incense at the ancestral altar. After the meal was served, I heard Grandfather explain that Grandmother had gone to a feast in the neighboring village because an old person had passed away. On her way back, she had to cross a large river. Today, with the heavy rain and humid air, the unclean things from the river would mostly take the opportunity to crawl ashore. That unclean entity had clung to Grandmother. Earlier, Lucky Fortune hadn't been barking at Grandmother, but at the foul entity behind her. Hearing Grandfather's story, I trembled with fear. Grandfather, seeing my trembling, cleared some food from the table, put it into a ceramic bowl, and handed it to me. Go, take this portion to Lucky Fortune. My uncle looked annoyed, wanting more gravy. He grumbled, "If we feed the dog every day, I won't have any fat left." Grandfather glared at him. "You stingy fellow, good things are still ahead." My uncle lowered his head and muttered, "Didn't you say its diet isn't meat?" Grandfather tapped his pipe, and my uncle fell silent. Grandmother smiled kindly at me and said, "Don't be afraid. It's raining outside. Pull the dog's bed under the eaves, though it doesn't get wet." Later that night, the rain outside grew heavier and heavier. I lay near the window, and soon after settling down, I heard wolves howling in the courtyard. I immediately grew alert. Behind our village lay the mountains, where wild wolves lived. When hungry, they would enter the village, and if they encountered livestock, they could even jump straight into the yard to eat them. If anyone tried to stop them, they could even lose their lives. My grandparents also woke up, the oil lamp flickering inside the house. Grandmother hugged me tight, telling me not to say anything. Grandfather grabbed his wood-chopping knife and approached the door. Outside, the wolf howls grew more urgent. Immediately after, a howl echoed from under the eaves. It was Lucky Fortune's howl, but entirely different from that of an ordinary dog. The wall of the sheepfold shook violently. Grandmother cried out in alarm, "It's not good. Our sheep are about to be carried off by wolves." Grandfather quickly opened the door, and my uncle, armed with an iron pitchfork, rushed out first. We lit torches and ran into the sheepfold. I saw Lucky Fortune dart out from a hole in the wall. My uncle cursed furiously, "You beast! Guarding the door and stealing too. It's no dog at all. It must be a wolf from the mountains. And yet you still treat it like a treasure." The sheepfold was empty. Only a few puddles of blood stained the ground. The fishy smell of blood assailed our noses. Grandmother wailed anxiously, "Oh, my heavens, it really is a beast. What a waste of our efforts to save its life." Grandfather said nothing, just squatted down and looked at the bloodstain. I noticed that besides turtle shell-shaped paw prints, there were also several very large human footprints in the blood. Just as I was about to speak, someone knocked on the gate from outside. We left the sheepfold and saw Uncle Hugh holding a torch with several young men from the village behind him. Uncle Hugh called out to Grandfather, "Elder Seven, come out quickly. Someone has died in the village." "Who died?" Grandfather opened the gate, and Grandfather held his torch high, asking, "Did it?" Uncle Hugh cried out, "My wife is dead. She came back from a feast in the neighboring village, complained of a headache, and went to sleep. I didn't notice when she got up to use the outhouse at night, and she never returned. When I went to look for her, there was only one shoe and a pile of blood in the outhouse. She must have been carried off by wolves." My grandmother sighed. "Hugh, bear the pain. If a family member dies, gather your relatives and go seek revenge on the wolf. What good will it do to come to us? Your grandparents are old. We no longer have the strength to fight." Grandfather, however, was anxious. "The person hasn't been found. They might not be dead. The important thing is to find them. If they're alive, we'll find the person. If they're dead, we'll find the body. Uncle Hugh burst into tears. Elder 7, I dare not hide it. This morning I went hunting in the mountains and caught a wolf, but it escaped. I think it's seeking revenge. At this moment, Aunt Wang interjected. Elder 7, this afternoon I passed by your house and saw Ethan feeding a dog. Since when did your family keep a dog? My grandmother glared at her, knowing immediately she had no good intentions. Aunt Wang had borrowed a favor from grandmother before, but refused to repay it, leading to many arguments. Sure enough, she said, could it be that you're raising a wolf and it's bringing a whole pack of wolves back to the village? I quickly cried out, no, it's not a wolf. Lucky Fortune is a dog. My grandmother hugged me tightly, angrily scolding. You venomous woman, did you see us bring a wolf home with your own eyes? Uncle Hugh hesitated. Elder 7, it's not that I don't believe you, but we clearly saw many wolves in your yard just now. Grandfather was pressed with questions, but didn't lose his temper. He said sternly, now is not the time for arguments. The most important thing is to save someone. Lead us to sea. The whole group, carrying torches, ran to Uncle Hugh's house. Just as we reached the gate, I distinctly saw a shadow dart out from the side. But when I looked again, there was nothing. I don't know if they saw it, as all eyes were fixed on the bloodstains in the outhouse. Grandfather squatted down, observing for a long time. The bloodstains were covered with turtle shell-shaped footprints, but the large human footprints were also clearly visible, identical to those in our sheepfold. Grandmother looked at the blood-stained shoe and, smelling the strong, fishy odor, felt nauseous. My uncle, carrying the pitchfork, walked around, searching for clues. Grandfather stood up, his face serious, and asked Uncle Hugh, besides catching a wolf today, did you do anything else? Uncle Hugh scratched his nose, his eyes darting away, then stared at Grandfather. No, I just caught a wolf and was about to skin it, but it ran away. Really? Uncle Hugh raised his chin and glared. Why would I lie to you, Elder 7? Just as everyone looked at each other awkwardly, a tragic scream suddenly rang out. A man ran out from behind the house, his clothes torn, his face pale and blood-stained, as if scared out of his wits. He stumbled out, falling into the mud. He cried out for help. Wolves! Many wolves! The man reeked of a strong foul smell that stung my eyes. My chest felt hot, and I touched it, realizing it was Lucky Fortune's tooth. I was about to ask Grandfather what was happening, but he had already pulled me back several steps, first looking at the bamboo grove behind, then carefully observing the man. Uncle Hugh grabbed him and pressed him. Where are the wolves? Where did you see them? Then he turned to my grandfather. Elder 7, everyone, quickly follow me to the back to search for her. My wife might still be alive. Grandfather furrowed his brows. The man pointed frantically towards the bamboo forest. A whole pack of wolves dragged a woman into the mountains. Quick, rescue her, or it'll be too late. The commotion was too loud, and villagers poured out. The village elder gathered people, intending to go into the mountains. Grandmother hugged me, advising, it's pitch dark and raining heavily. Going into the forest is too dangerous. Wait until morning. Uncle Hugh was about to argue when the blood-stained man wailed again. That woman is truly still alive. If you wait until morning, she'll surely be dead. The village elder, hearing this, urged the villagers on. Uncle Hugh knelt on the ground, kowtowing. Thank you, everyone. Just as grandfather was about to follow, I suddenly noticed something strange. Despite the bright torches around, the man had no shadow at all. I immediately tugged at grandfather's sleeve, signaling him to look. Grandfather looked down at the ground and softly mumbled, "You must be seeing things." But when he looked up at me, grandfather's expression suddenly changed dramatically. He quickly covered my eyes, whispering, "Don't look. Close your eyes. Don't look." As soon as I closed my eyes, I heard countless voices from all directions. Voices of children, men, and women, all urging, "Go, go, into the mountains. Go into the mountains." I trembled with fear. Grandmother noticed my unusual state and worriedly told grandfather, "What if it's cold from the rain and the boy gets sick?" My uncle, holding his iron pitchfork, his eyes hazy, his posture stiff, wanted to follow the group into the mountains. The village elder and the villagers were ready to depart. Grandfather quickly pulled my uncle back, then turned to grandmother and said, "Let's go home, quickly, or it will be too late." Uncle Hugh, seeing us leave, cursed angrily, "You won't help us. You're truly inhumane. I called you Elder Seven, but you're nothing. If my wife dies, I'll make you pay with your lives." Grandmother wanted to turn back, but grandfather pulled her hand. "Don't pay attention to them. Hurry home and get our things. Any delay could cost us our lives." We ran back to our courtyard. My uncle then snapped out of his daze, asking blankly, "Huh? Weren't we just at Uncle Hugh's house? How did we get back here?" Hearing this, grandmother also understood that something big was surely going to happen in the village tonight. She locked the gate tightly. Grandfather went into the ancestral hall and took a bronze mirror from under the altar. The mirror was gleaming. Its reflection making my eyes dazzle. The light shone on the ground, revealing a small Bagua symbol. After everyone was in the main hall, grandfather said sternly, "You two went to the feast in the neighboring village, and on your way back, you must have encountered something unclean. Now, it's a rainy and windy night, and things from the mountains and the river have all been drawn into the village." My uncle's eyes widened. "Father, it's the middle of the night. Don't scare us anymore." Grandmother smacked his head. "Scare you? You were almost possessed just now." My uncle fell silent, trembling, and asked, "What do we do now?" "Everyone in the village has already gone into the mountains." Grandfather gave the wood-chopping knife to grandmother, put the bronze mirror in his pocket, and said, "Your uncle must go to help save people. We're all from the same village. We can't just watch them die without helping." Grandmother looked at me, hesitating. "But what if the boy is alone at home and something unclean breaks in?" Grandfather took the tooth from my neck and placed it in my hand. "Stay in the house, good boy, and absolutely do not go outside. This is Lucky Fortune's charm. Unclean things usually dare not come near it." Having said that, they left the house, one after the other. I hid in the main hall, not daring to make a sound. The red candle on the altar had burned halfway down when I started to doze off. Then, from outside the door, a voice called, Ethan, Ethan, come out quickly. Don't stay in the house alone anymore. Come out fast. The voice sounded right by my ear. I startled awake, but realized it was coming from outside the door. Trembling, I tiptoed closer. Through the crack in the door, I saw many villagers outside. They carried torches, but for some reason, the light was dim and weak. Right in front was the man who had run out of the bamboo grove earlier. Behind him were the village elder and everyone else. He called to me, "Little one, come out quickly. Your wife has been found and the wolves have been driven away." Just as I was about to open the door, the tooth in my hand grew burning hot, instantly sobering me up. Looking closely, I saw that none of them had shadows on the ground. Seeing my silence, he coaxed again. "Don't stay in the house anymore. Your grandparents went into the mountains and haven't returned yet. We still need to find them. It's very dangerous to be alone in the house. Come out quickly." The sound faded in and out, and my mind grew increasingly hazy. My heart was filled with worry. "Worry for grandparents. Worry for uncle," I mumbled uncontrollably. "Save people. Save grandparents. Go into the mountains." The moment I was about to open the door, a woo, a woo, a wolf howl echoed from behind the mountain. The tooth in my hand felt scorching hot, like fire, and my arm stung as if scalded by boiling water. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing right at the gate. The pale face of the man was pressed close to mine, making me scream in terror. I quickly turned and ran back inside, slamming the door shut and covering my ears tightly. No, that voice is wrong. I can't listen. But from the courtyard, the voice continued to echo. "Come out. Don't you want to save your grandparents? Little one, come out quickly. Crash! Boom!" The rain outside grew heavier and heavier, its drumming sound completely overwhelming that bizarre voice. At the same moment, a flash of light flickered through my window. I rushed to look, realizing it was reflected light from the clouds, its source directly behind the mountain. On the ground, a Bagua symbol was slowly rotating. It was grandfather's bronze mirror. The ghostly figures outside the gate had vanished. An orange light of torches approached, accompanied by urgent footsteps. "Ethan, quickly come with grandmother." I saw grandmother. She was holding up a torch, opening the courtyard gate. As soon as I opened the door, she rushed in. She rummaged under the altar for a long time, then used a red cloth bag to collect all the incense ashes. I quickly asked Grandma, "Where are grandfather and uncle? Your grandfather is still behind the mountain. Everyone in the village has been enchanted. They're saying your uncle killed someone, and now they're chasing him all over the mountain. Lucky Fortune was severely wounded by Uncle Hugh's machete while saving us. Your grandfather told me to come back for the incense ashes. You must come with me. El, the village is no longer safe. Lucky Fortune is dead." I followed grandmother outside. After running a short distance, I saw torches scattered across the mountainside, and shouts echoed, chasing and killing as if in a frenzy. I ran heedlessly and tripped over something soft, falling. Looking back, it was a wolf corpse. The mountain was littered with wolf corpses, their bellies distended like drums, grotesquely swollen, mouths continuously spewing water. It was a sickening sight. Halfway up the mountain, I saw grandfather holding Lucky Fortune. Its back was gashed with a long wound, bleeding profusely. and its belly was terrifyingly bloated. Thankfully, it was still faintly breathing. Seeing me, Grandfather immediately told me to kneel beside it. "Quick, take out Lucky Fortune's tooth." Grandmother poured the incense ashes into a basin and placed it right in front of the dog. Then she used the tooth to pierce the torn skin on its back, threading each blood-red needle through. Hearing her mumble an incantation, I finally understood. It turned out that when they went into the mountains, they discovered that the wolf pack hadn't entered the village to eat livestock. When they saw the villagers, they didn't even growl but chased after them, biting at the empty air behind. That air was incredibly strange. Each time a wolf bit into it, a spray of blood appeared, and their bellies swelled more and more. Just when they thought the villagers were saved, the sky suddenly poured down torrential rain, and a chilling wind pierced to the bone. Then, as each wolf leaped, it was flung away by some invisible force. Many fell to the ground, their bellies bursting open, a terrifying sight. Just as Uncle Hugh swung his machete at my uncle, Lucky Fortune lunged out, biting his back, saving my uncle, but taking a fatal blow itself. The villagers, as if possessed, swarmed around my grandparents, trapping them. Amidst the pushing and shoving, the bronze mirror in Grandfather's shirt fell out. A flash of lightning streaked across the sky, and the bronze mirror flared with light shooting upwards. Thunder rumbled in succession. No. The villagers, like spirits, ran in a panic back towards the village, leaving no one behind. Grandfather saw the light shining towards our house, and only then told Grandmother to go back and get me. At this moment, I truly understood. Lucky Fortune was not an ordinary dog. Unfortunately, it wouldn't survive. Lucky Fortune gently licked my hand. Then its breath ceased entirely. My uncle had also disappeared. Grandfather said we had to wait until morning to return to the village to search. Standing on the mountainside, we clearly saw a procession of torches leaving the village at the foot of the mountain. Their direction was the large ray separating my village and the neighboring village. The next morning, Grandfather led us back to the village. As soon as we entered the gate, we saw Uncle Hugh, completely insane. He was stuck in a large water jar, struggling fruitlessly, his hand still desperately trying to scoop water to drink. His belly was distended, as if about to explode. His eyes were wide and lucid, yet filled with fear. I could read his lips. "Water demon. Water demon has come ashore." We were still in shock when a crowd of people appeared at the village entrance. As they drew closer, we saw they were all villagers, soaking wet from head to toe. The village elder at the front smiled and greeted my grandfather. Grandmother was about to say something, but Grandfather quickly pulled her hand, signaling her to look up at the sky. Though it was daytime, the clouds were dense and black, and heavy drizzle fell. The villagers walked stiffly, all heading straight towards my house. When the village elder came closer, I noticed they were terribly pale, their arms covered in wrinkles, utterly bloodless. The village elder spoke haltingly, but his meaning was clear. The pack of wolves had attacked the village. Many people had died, and they needed my grandparents' help to collect the bodies. Uncle Hugh shaking his head desperately. My grandparents said nothing. Grandfather quickly pushed me, making me fall into the courtyard. Grandmother seized the opportunity to lock the gate tightly. She trembled as she stroked my head, whispering, "Ethan, find a chance later to crawl through the hole in the sheepfold and run up the mountain to find your uncle." Just as grandfather ran after them, Uncle Hugh struggled free from the water jar. He came to the courtyard gate and called to me, "Ethan, quickly follow your uncle. Everyone in the village has become a substitute for the water demons. We must go to the mountain, or it will be too late." My head buzzed. Uncle Hugh's belly was distended and burst open, a terrifying sight. Yet he still urged me, "Why are you still dazed? Come out quickly." I was frozen with fear. What exactly was Uncle Hugh? How could he still be alive with his belly burst open like that? I screamed and quickly ran towards the sheepfold at the side. Looking back, I saw him climbing straight over the wall, crawling in, grinning at me with a cackle. "Ethan, run! Let's see how far you can get." As he lunged towards me, I ducked low and immediately slipped past him, escaping. Just as I was about to rush out of the courtyard gate, I found the outside crammed with people. I had no choice but to press against the wall and grope my way along. More and more people swarmed in. Uncle Hugh grinned, baring his teeth at me. I was trapped both front and back. Gritting my teeth, I desperately dashed into the sheepfold. Fortunately, the sheepfold door was narrow, and the crowd outside, pressing together, couldn't get in. I saw the hole in the sheepfold wall, just big enough for me to crawl through. After getting out of the sheepfold, I immediately turned and ran headlong towards the mountain behind. The people inside the sheepfold roared furiously, "Come back! Come back! It's very dangerous on the mountain." Suddenly, my feet halted, because grandmother's tragic scream echoed from the village. I was about to turn back to save her when, with a crash, the wall of the sheepfold behind me collapsed. A group of people crawled out, but not on two legs. They all moved on all fours like large spiders, howling chillingly and lunging straight towards me. I screamed at the top of my lungs, turning and running. I had only reached halfway up the mountain when my legs felt utterly exhausted. The mountain path was slippery, and I hadn't eaten for a day and a night. I had no strength left. Just as I was about to be caught, a mound of earth in front suddenly exploded. An animal as big as a calf burst out, freezing me with fear. But it wasn't targeting me. Before I could even turn around, tragic screams rang out from behind me. Looking back, it was a wolf. It growled and lunged at the people. They turned and fled, and anyone caught was immediately bitten in the neck. And with my own eyes, I saw streams of black mist being sucked into the wolf's mouth. Those who fell foamed at the mouth, their bodies twisting and convulsing on the ground. The wolf turned back, its eyes meeting mine. My heart suddenly filled with joy, and I cried out, "Lucky, lucky fortune." Sure enough, the colossal wolf paused, panting with its tongue out, and wagged its tail at me. I quickly shouted, "Lucky fortune, hurry, go back to the village and save grandparents. They've been taken by water demons." Lucky Fortune immediately bounded to my side, crouching low to the ground and growling. I hugged its neck tightly and climbed onto its back. I could only hear its heart thumping like a drum. It was alive. Eh? But it was truly alive. Upon reaching the village, Lucky Fortune stopped. A woo! A long echoing howl resounded, and immediately, from all directions within the village, wolf howls replied. From the shadowy forest around, countless wolves suddenly leaped out, their eyes all glowing red. The villagers, in a panic, poured out, running in disarray everywhere. Lucky Fortune, carrying me, charged forward. As we got closer, I saw that the villagers' skin was wrinkled and pale, as if they had been soaked in water for a long time. I saw Grandfather. He held the bronze mirror high, shielding Grandmother. The cleaver in Grandmother's hand was broken in half. Facing them was a long-haired man. Each strand of his hair stood erect like a swarm of water snakes, constantly coiling around the bodies of the villagers, controlling them like puppets on strings. Seeing someone lunging towards Grandmother from behind, I cried out in alarm, "Grandma, look out behind you!" She turned, surprised to see me, then instinctively threw the broken half of the knife in her hand, striking the man's leg. Grandfather, his face pale, shouted loudly, "Ethan, didn't you escape? Why did you come back?" Grandmother also cried, telling me to run away quickly. But they didn't notice the long-haired man was retreating step by step. I realized he wanted to escape. I pointed and shouted loudly, "Lucky Fortune, go!" Grandfather was about to rush to help me when Lucky Fortune suddenly squatted down, dropping me to the ground. In a flash, it darted away. Ah! The man screamed tragically as Lucky Fortune bit him straight in the neck. My grandparents escaped the encirclement. As they ran towards me, they turned back to see Lucky Fortune still clamping its jaws on his neck. The snake-like strands of hair fell limply to the ground, like rotting seaweed. The controlled villagers all collapsed, their bodies convulsing. The man trembled, begging, "No, don't. I only came ashore at the extreme yin hour. Today, the yin rain is dense, the water energy is abundant. I haven't violated any rules. You are wrong to do this." Lucky Fortune's mouth spewed out streams of thick, black mist. With a snap, his neck was broken. A stream of black energy shot out from his feet, rushing into the distance. But the tail of the black energy was still caught in Lucky Fortune's mouth. Its belly swelled gradually, and terrifying chewing and swallowing sounds emanated from it. The tragic screams grew weaker, then disappeared entirely. My grandparents pulled me down, making me kneel. Grandfather said, "Ethan, quickly, kowtow, Panhu." Panhu isn't Lucky Fortune. I was bewildered, not understanding anything. Just then, the villagers who had been lying scattered all abruptly sat up, screaming in panic. Water demons! There are water demons!" Before I could regain my composure, a tragic cry rang out. Turning my head, I saw my uncle. He swung a piece of firewood, striking Aunt Liu hard, making her scream, "You bastard! What are you doing? Why are you hitting me?" My uncle was still yelling wildly. "Father, mother, son, I've come to save you." Grandfather rushed over and slapped him. "Where have you been hiding all this time?" Now you show your face. Are you waiting for a sunset stroll? Grandmother quickly tended to Aunt Lou, while urging grandfather stop it. He still had the heart not to abandon us. So many people were chasing him. He had to run for his life. My uncle sobbed. They were all possessed. If I hadn't run, I would have died. Then he asked in a panic, "Where's Ethan? Is he still alive?" I quickly called out, "Uncle, I'm here." Before I could finish, Lucky Fortune suddenly froze. A second later, a bolt of lightning tore through the sky and struck its head. Boom! Amidst the sound of thunder, it still wagged its tail at me, then turned into dust. "Lucky Fortune!" I cried out, rushing forward, only managing to pick up a single remaining tooth. Oh, another bolt of lightning struck behind the mountain. Grandfather ran to me, pulling me, and said urgently, "Come with me quickly to the back of the mountain." I cried and sobbed, "Grandpa, Lucky Fortune is dead." "It's really dead?" "No, hurry up, follow me to the back of the mountain." We ran and ran, breathless, until we reached halfway up the mountain. On the way, I noticed that the wolf corpses scattered earlier had completely vanished. The spot where Lucky Fortune had been buried was now a scorched black patch from the lightning strike. Grandfather impatiently shouted, "Ethan, quick, give me Panu's tooth." Before I could react, he snatched it from my hand, then tightly gripped my hand. "Be brave. Endure it. Don't be afraid of the pain." As soon as he finished speaking, he pressed the tooth straight into the palm of my hand. Fresh blood stained the dog's tooth red. Immediately after, he carefully lifted the tooth, scraped away the scorched earth, and gently buried it deep. After he finished, he slumped to the ground, panting. As grandmother and my uncle caught up, a soft whimpering sound emanated from the scorched earth. The ground swelled, and a 5-colored puppy crawled out. Grandfather sighed in relief and told me, "Ethan, quick! Lucky Fortune is alive again." My uncle's eyes bulged. That Scabby dog." Grandfather angrily twisted my uncle's ear. "Kneel down. This is Panu, a divine dog." The puppy crawled out, its radiant fur swiftly vanishing, leaving only a pure black color. It stuck out its tongue, staring at me, making my heart flutter with curiosity. I hugged it tightly, exclaiming, "I don't care if it's Panu or whatever. Lucky Fortune." I gently pinched its ear and chuckled. "You are Lucky Fortune, aren't you? Woof, woof, woof." I was startled. It turned out I could understand what it was saying. Grandfather, seeing my dazed expression, pressed me. "What did it say?" I swallowed hard and pointed at Lucky Fortune. "Grandpa, I'm afraid we can't afford to keep it." My uncle was confused. "What do you mean, can't afford it?" "Just give it meat to eat, that's all." "Woof, woof, woof," Lucky Fortune barked more urgently. I quickly hugged it and dashed straight down the mountain. Grandmother called out in alarm, "Ethan, run slower. Be careful not to fall." I turned back and replied, "Lucky Fortune is hungry," she yelled. "So what if it's hungry? It's no big deal." I didn't turn back anymore, just ran headlong, needing to hurry before the water demons were still in the village. I shouted, "Lucky Fortune said its diet is demons."